Welcome to Pro and Con. I'm Konrad Ejbich. Today my guest is Daniel Lenko. He's the proprietor of Daniel Lenko Estate Winery. And Daniel, your family vineyards are older than you are.
Yes.
Right.
I'm a third generation vineyard.
Right. So you're one of the few people who's actually Canadian born and grew up on a vineyard.
Yes.
What does it feel like? What's it like? Not what does it feel like. What's it like growing up in a vineyard and eventually in a winery?
Well, there's a lot of sweat equity. It was very difficult to walk away from farming when it came time to choose a career. It was almost automatic that I wanted to carry on, fulfill my father's and my grandfather's dreams.
So a winery was actually their dreams?
My father for sure. He
Yeah.
was very adamant that he wanted to start a winery, but it was just, he was in his 70s when I started the winery.
Right. Was that because he'd seen what he was a grower? I mean, he planted the first Chardonnay grapes in 1959.
Correct.
And I guess almost 20 years later, people like Jim Warren were buying his Chardonnay grapes, 20-year-old vine Chardonnay. Was it at that time that he became interested in, I could do more than just grow grapes? I could actually...
I think that, both Paul Bosk and Jim Warren were big catalysts. Both of them bought grapes off us early, and they did a great job with Chardonnay, and I think my father saw the potential.
Yeah, I remember the first time, it's always been a passion of mine to get vineyard names on bottles, to actually get vineyard names. I remember, I think your vineyard was the first vineyard I saw. It was either yours or Eastman's.
Yes.
Eastman Vineyard, and both Chardonnays.
Mm-hmm.
So having spent your life, on a vineyard and a winery, do you have any opinions as to which grapes do the very best here and which ones do the worst?
Consistently, Chardonnay has really performed well for us.
Yeah.
And fortunate for me, the lion's share of my farm is Chardonnay, so that works out well. I think the Riesling's a good strong performer as well. Merlot does really well because it's an early ripener as far as Bordeaux Reds go.
Right.
And other varieties are quite good, like Gewürztraminer. Viognier has some potential as well. So, and not everything does well on every year, so there are variations in vintage, and I think it's important for the consumer to go out and taste every vintage and find the ones they like.
Is there any grapes that you wish you had that you don't have in your vineyard?
I'm considering planting some Sauvignon Blanc.
Sauvignon Blanc.
Yes, it's one of the wines I really enjoy drinking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So obviously you don't grow any, you don't make any. Whose do you drink now?
Things like Featherstones.
Yeah.
I think Featherstone's newest one is just fantastic.
Excellent. I agree with you. Now, last year you sold off most of your grapes instead of making wine.
Yes.
You want to talk about that?
What was that
about?
We put a brand new sign up on the property, and we went to the Escarpment Commission because we are in the Niagara Escarpment Commission, and we had to ask for permission to put the sign in the ground, and they come back to you with comment on the size of the sign and color of the sign and shape of the sign. And basically they came back and said, well, we don't have an environmental plan for your winery. And I said, well, what's that got to do with anything? And I said, well, we have to go back to the region. So they went back to the region said, we don't have any record of you being a winery. So I said, well...
Sorry, Danny, you don't exist.
I don't exist. And so they sent out inspectors immediately, and they said they didn't like anything they saw. So they wanted us to revamp our whole wastewater treatment plant. And I said, well, no. I said, I was inspected back in 2000. Here, I've got the invoice for $500. So I pulled it out of my records and I presented it to them. And they said...
And they backed off?
No, they wouldn't back off. That was the other problem. They shut me down, basically.
Oh, no kidding.
And so I went to councillors and mayors and people like this with, who are, are elected members of regional... democracy there, and they were behind me and said, well, this is just wrong. I said, I don't know how you guys do business, but we got to really look at this. So basically we went back to the board, and they allowed me to revamp my system back to 2000 standards and make it up to snuff.
And then what about the sign?
And the sign is still on wheels because I haven't heard back from the Escarpment Commission.
Keep it on wheels. So
bureaucracy runs pretty thick in Niagara.
Do you export any wine?
I don't at this time. I have back a couple years ago. I sent some to the Netherlands. I sent some late harvest to the Netherlands.
Yeah. And it sold well, I bet. They liked it.
He paid,
but you're not export. Is that a plan? Is that you can't or
I love
you don't
to
want
export. It's just there's very little opportunity in the worldwide scene. I think that Canada made a big splash with ice wine, and in some ways, ice wine has held us back a little bit, I think.
I don't disagree.
Because everybody just looks at you and says you're the one-trick pony. I think if we would have launched a Chardonnay to follow up with ice wine, we would have had more of a splash similar to New Zealand with Sauvignon Blanc.
Maybe what we should do is introduce dry ice wine.
Think about the alcohol level.
I think we'll figure it out. A little bit of reverse
We
osmosis.
need some kind of super
gold.
yeast to make it to the end.
Andy Van Veeren will help you with that one. Any thoughts you want to share about selling wine in Ontario?
Well,
Bill C311 or just moved up to the Senate?
is that the gun registration?
No,
I like that one.
that's
Eliminate the gun registration.
That's the one where you can sell guns into Alberta, but you can't sell liquor into
That's
Alberta.
the problem.
Right,
I can send you a gun in the mail, but I can't send you a bottle of wine.
Yeah, so it's changing now.
It's
apparently.
changing, and I have requests daily for wine at this point, provincially. And I think that everybody's on the cusp of saying, hey, let's just go for it.
Yeah.
But we're still waiting for government approval, and I think there's a need for it, for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I'd like to see it go further where hotels and restaurants are permitted to buy. 'Cause,
Right.
I mean, that's it. You have the free right to trade in this country.
Right. We just got a thing in the mail about the special occasion permit. They've eliminated that for all manufacturers. So if I want to go have a pouring at the shoe store down the street, I can just put up a sign, free wine tasting. I don't have to have a permit. There's no inspectors going to come by. It's a no sale.
That's new?
Yeah, brand new,
That's
July
new.
1.
Repeat that again, because I want every winery to hear this. I want everybody
you
to
can
know this.
pour wine anywhere in Ontario at any venue without a special occasion permit if you're a manufacturer.
If you're a manufacturer.
Correct.
If you're a manufacturer.
So
okay.
the idea is to promote an Ontario wine or promote any kind of Ontario wine, and to say that, okay, this wine is available at the LCBO, go down and get some. Or this wine is available at the cellar door at the winery, come by and see us.
Fantastic.
And that's part and parcel to spur sales of wines in Ontario to help pay for healthcare. Like, we need an extra $100 million a year for the LCBO.
Yeah.
So the Ontario government wants them to make more money.
Yep. So make wine more accessible so that you can make more
That's
money.
right. And I think that, with this pour it wherever you can deal, I think that's going to spur on the consumer to want to be able to take it home with them right on site.
Yeah.
I said, that's the problem with doing wine shows for us was always, I can go to Toronto Wine Cheese Show, but you can't take a bottle of wine home like the Sham Wow at the auto show.
Exactly.
You go to the auto show, this miracle cloth, I got them rolled up here, take 10 home, right? Buy one, get one free.
Yeah.
But
Now you're on the road promoting ChardonnGay, this wine here. This beautiful wine, this fantastic wine, rainbow-colored label, $19.95, available at the LCBO.
yes,
Same price at your winery, unfortunately.
yes.
I mean, unfortunately to say, but now I understand you're offering, you're donating $1 towards AIDS research for every bottle
Correct.
that's sold. Can you tell me, what does this project mean to you personally?
I think at a certain point, a winery is looking for a project to do, something with philanthropical feel to it, and we decided to support AIDS research. I do have relatives and friends within the community, and it's a wine that celebrates Canada's diverse gay culture. I mean, anybody can get married in this country if they're the same sex. We don't look down upon them saying you can't do this. I mean, Toronto has a huge Pride Festival, and we wanted something that would support these views year-round.
Agreed.
And then we decided to attach $1 donation to AIDS research. I mean, it's a horrible disease that afflicts everybody in the world.
And what a terrific way to donate, because the wine exists as your unoaked Chardonnay with the regular label.
Right.
And this ChardonnGay is exactly the same wine,
It's
exactly the same price.
That's right. You can get it in straight
Right.
or Pride label.
So you can be anti-gay and and you'll get the extra buck, which
Yeah.
you can do it, or you can be pro. Let's say anti-AIDS.
It's interesting because I had numerous customers say, "Well, why would you make a green label anymore?"
Why would you make a what?
Why would you make a green label anymore? But we had them printed. We had both labels printed, so we tend to offer them to either or. Right?
I guess there's still a few bottles for the homophobic community.
Whatever. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, in this case, you can go to a major department store and say, "Would you?" You walk up to the cashier and say, "Would you like to donate $1 to something?" And then they go on to say that so and so department store donated $10 million to
Yes.
cancer research or something. They didn't.
Yeah, no.
They're Customers did.
Well,
So
that's
totally
like the
different.
LCBO. I'm
This
sorry,
is,
that's like
I am doing it.
LCBO
On your
gets so
behalf.
much credit for good works, and yet what
Right.
they're doing is they're collecting from
Yeah.
customers and handing it over.
I'm taking profits. I'm taking the dollar out of my pocket and giving.
Good for you. Good for you.
So we've partnered with Canfar actually in Toronto. So
Yeah.
we're official wine of Canfar, and we donated 2 months ago. We donated $5,000 from ChardonnGay sold last year.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Well, let's double it this year.
Well,
Let's hope we double it this year. That's it. I ran out of questions.
Well, let's talk about the wine for a second.
Okay.
This is Chardonnay, and we do it in an unoaked style, so it's stainless steel fermented, and it's 2 tons per acre. So what that means is we'll go through in a couple weeks, as soon as the grapes are pea size, and take off 2/3 of the crop and throw them away. And what that does is it gives you more leaves per bunch, so you have a bigger photo
More
collector.
nutrition gathering.
Better photosynthesis,
per
yes.
berry.
So you have phenolic maturity, you have great ripeness with this. And then it's cold fermented and aged on the leaves for 6 months. So you get a lot of that juiciness that I find it very Sauvignon Blanc like. I don't know if you
I don't get
that.
Sauvignon Blanc like, thank heavens, because I'm not a big Sauvignon
Oh,
guy.
okay.
But there is an ever so slight herbacity about it, ever so slight. Okay, It's a greenness, but it's not that, to me, that bitter, ugly green chlorophyll-like greenness
That's
right
right.
in Sauvignon Blanc. This is like a ripe greenness, like a floral greenness.
It's
a
like
green
biting
flower.
into a green pear and then having a ripe pear just right after it.
You're right on.
And
Yeah.
you get that nice honeyed pear note on the finish, and it's almost sweet up front. You think, boy, this is sweet, but when you swallow it, it is dry. It's the lees aging that really brings out that sweetness.
And the texture. Because
Yes.
the texture is really rich. And
Yes, it's
thick
got a
and
little.
viscous.
A lot of people don't like white wine because it's just too thin. White wine is the other wine you drink.
Well,
other
that's
than
because
red wine.
the
Type of
stereotypes.
mindset. It's finding the white wine you like. That's the hard job.
This is the white wine for red wine drinkers.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's got a lot of mid-mouth body to it, and a lot of good mouth stain. When you're done, you can really taste
Mouth stain.
Mouth stain.
Mouth stain. I gotta like that. I like that mouth stain.
So, and it's like greenness hue to it. A nice, really great color. It's nice and fresh and crisp. Available at 60 LCBOs right now.
60. And they're usually the southern ones, like if you're north of Barrie.
Correct. It'd be a little bit
Good luck.
tougher. This is the pilot project. This is under the Wines to Watch program,
Okay.
and it'll be an end-aisle display.
Well, the beauty is that it should be easy to find because of that label.
Hopefully, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so look on the shelves for it. And thanks for coming in, Daniel.
Well, thank you for having me.
Daniel is the...
Good to see you again.
Yeah, you bet. Daniel's the owner winemaker of Daniel Lenko Estate Winery, and you can buy wines from him. You can go to the website, and it's daniellenko.ca, Daniel Lenko Wines.
.com.
daniellenko.com.
That's right.
Okay, thanks. Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.